Good morning, good morning. It is the Make It Happen Monday. Those of you new to this video, this is Cheryl Andrews. I'm known as the Listening Detective, and I like to talk about everything that will help you to work, learn, and live at your best so that you can improve your performance and your relationships. So today I want to share with you the 3 things that being self-employed for the last 22 years has taught me, and leave you with the magical 3 questions to set you up for success for the week ahead. So 22 years of being self-employed, what have I learned? Well, let me just whistle stop back. This time, for some reason, I thought it was the 7th of November. I don't know where I've got that date from because it was actually a Sunday, so I probably didn't start the job that day. But the November 1999 was when I launched and I purchased a franchise with Slimming World and started to become a Slimming World consultant back on the sometime at the beginning of November. And it was a Thursday session. It started from 7 o'clock till 8:30. And I did it. My purpose was because my current job, I was working as a manager for the Halifax weekends only. And we were on a contract where I used to get paid double pay for Saturday and Sundays. Then our contract changed and I went to single pay. So literally for doing the same work, my money halved. So in that moment, I was like, that isn't going to work. So I'm going to have to up my income. So I became a Slimming World consultant with the purpose and intention of earning £50 a week to top up my money that I'd lost as my contracts had changed with my full-time work. That was in the November. Then by the March, something happened in the New Year's Eve. My husband got knocked down in a hit and run outside the front of the house and broke his neck, and he was a self-employed driving instructor, so he had to have time off. So I then needed to up my income even more because he was self-employed, wasn't going to work for 6 weeks, and we needed to make sure that we covered the money that he'd lost. By March of 2000, I was able to earn enough money to give up my weekend job, which was perfect timing because my daughter had started school. So she was going to school Monday to Friday and I was at work at the weekends, and it wasn't working for her or for me. So the number one thing that I know really works. Good morning, whoever's with me, please say hello. It's always lovely to know who's listening. The one thing I know absolutely is really important to have clarity of what you want and to know why you want it, who you want it for. What sits, I just came in to hear your hubby was in a hit and run. Yes, but just so you know, not the husband I'm with now, the husband that I was with in 1999. Literally a young lad out the front here, was gobbing off. He reversed up and ran over literally sent my husband up in the air, and he landed on the floor and broke his neck. But going back to the self-employed part of it, because he was self-employed and he's a driving instructor, he wasn't earning any money. And so talking about the 3 lessons today, Paul, about being self-employed is, I know for me personally, I should calm down a bit now. Yes, please do, Paul. I don't want you stressing. Mark is fine. And so is my ex-husband, by the way. He's still a driving instructor today. I've lost my thread now. So I was talking about my 3 things. So the thing that for me that really that reminds me of that time is I was able to generate the income because I absolutely knew what I wanted, how much I wanted, and who I wanted it for. I needed to keep the roof over my head. I needed my husband to be able to feel guilt-free about resting, not stressing over the mortgage, etc. And so that was my motivation, and it really worked for me. So in March 2000, I became self-employed full-time as a franchisee with Slimming World, and that absolutely worked. And the reason it works is because the 3 things are I had clarity of what I wanted and why I wanted it, but I also had confidence in the process. Because I was a franchisee, they provided all the marketing material, they gave us a marketing strategy, we knew what we had to do every 90 days, we knew what worked and what didn't work, and I knew that if I just followed those action steps, I would get results. Now, the learning for me was that eventually I left Slimming World in 2008 and set my own company up. And I didn't really fully appreciate that when I went through that change that I'd lost my marketing company. And so it was actually a massive journey to go on this journey to create my own marketing material, my own branding, my own messages, because actually I didn't really know what we stood for. It was a sense that I wanted to make a difference. I needed to do something differently. I left Slimming World. I changed that contract because of, again, my money halved. I went from being self-employed to employed for 2 years while I bought my ex-husband out of the property. And our bonus structure changed. So for the same money, I earned one quarter, I earned £2,000 in bonuses. For the same work, when they changed the bonus structure, the following quarter, I only earned 200. And that was the thing that motivated me to go, right, actually. Now, what's really interesting is I tell this story for the first time, sort of clarify. I can hear myself saying it. Now, I would tell you that I'm not motivated by money. I would tell you that I'm not motivated. But what I realised is back then, I had to earn the money in order to put food on the table, to be able to, as a single parent, in my first marriage, initially I was the main wage earner. Then when my husband had his accident, I had to go back to being the main wage earner. And then when I was going through my divorce and I was separated, I was the main wage earner. I had to earn the money. And so what's been really interesting on that journey is that when I have clarity of what I want, I can deliver that. And this year, for me personally, what I realised is my lowest moments during that time, when I lost the confidence, it was often when I was working really, really hard, putting lots of time and energy into the business, but not getting the financial return that the work seemed to, I thought I should have got, or more to the point, couldn't provide for my family in the way that I wanted to. And 18 months ago, I made a decision that I was going to focus on getting the income. And that income has gone up. I'm not talking like thousands, like £100 a month. How much I've been able to draw out of the business has gone up every month for the last 12 months. So the big learning I've got is that I have to have clarity of what I want, and that actually saying things like money isn't important to me, or money doesn't motivate me, or money doesn't that, actually what happens is I don't get the income. And that means then I can't provide for my family. It means I can't give my, I can't donate to the charities. I can't support people around me. If I don't have the income there, I can't do the things that I love doing for and with the people that matter to me. So that's been my big thing, is to actually have clarity that if you're going to be self-employed, you have to be really clear that it is a business and you want to make money from it. And if you have a story that you tell yourself about not wanting to make money, it doesn't matter, then I think that's going to impact the results that you get. Now, interestingly, when I set my company up in 2008, I genuinely didn't need to earn the money. It was a case of, I decided to be a stay-at-home mum when I got married to Mark. We had 5 children we have 5 children between us. And I decided I was going to be a stay-at-home mum, and I was running the business just because I wanted something to occupy my brain. I needed something to be learning. I needed something to stimulate me when the kids were at school and nobody actually required me. About 2 years in, though, when it wasn't making as much money, or it wasn't as successful as I'd liked it to be, I forgot that it was a hobby. That all it had to do was pay for itself. That's what we had agreed at the beginning, but I forgot that. So one of the things I see lots of people doing is they get clarity of what they want and they forget that's why they wanted it, or something changes, or the circumstances changes. So the 3 things that really, really stand out for me is always check in that you've got clarity of what you want. Second, have confidence in the process. So it has been a process. It's gone from being a hobby, and then I was comparing myself with business owners rather than recognizing and owning the fact that it was a hobby. Then it's become a business, but I had to change the way I approached it, because I was still saying things like, oh, I don't really need to earn money. My husband earns enough money. But actually, I wanted to earn the money. I wanted to be able to provide for my family. And it's actually Mark talking about his retirement right now that's motivated me, because I'm like, okay, well, as long as I'm earning the money, he can retire guilt-free. And funny enough, I'm earning more money now because I've put my attention on it. So 3 things that you need, I've realised, is 1, you have to have clarity of what you want. 2, you have to have confidence in the process. Some things will take longer, over a period of a year or 18 months. They're not instant result stuff. You don't get everything as an instant gratification. So you have to have an understanding of what's going to happen over time. And thirdly is that change happens. So in my situation with my first husband, obviously I went out only needing to earn £50, and then he was in an accident, so I needed to earn more money. I started out being that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mum, but actually I was bored. So then I set up the business, and as long as it covered all my training costs, then that was fine. But there was something that changed along the way where I hadn't really been listening to the story, where I was going, oh, I don't need to earn money. But there was another story that I was telling myself, that there is the I can't have that because I haven't earned the money. And so if you don't really listen to the way that you talk to yourself and about yourself and your situation, it can be impacting the results and response you get. And so getting really, really clear what you want to have happen, what's the process, what gets you from A to B, but making sure you've got the right support in place. And for me, when I'm going through change, I have to have somebody who can listen to me, reflect myself back, because first and foremost, I need to hear what it is that I think. And if I spend all my time just focusing on what other people think, then I will lose confidence and I will lose clarity. Hope you found today's video useful. Whoever's joining with me today, I'm going to leave you with the 3 questions that we always finish on a Monday with. Let me just get the banner up. So the first question is, for this week, what would you like to have happen? That's the question. These are the clean setup questions. So think about what you'd like to have happen. Write down your answer. I want to have a really, really great week of, it's the Social Media Kindness Day tomorrow. It's World Kindness Day, I think, on Saturday. So I'm going to have a week of really, really being kind, one, to myself and to other people, and exploring what kindness is. That's what I'd like to have happen. But I'd love to know from you. Please put in the comment box what you'd like to have happen. And I want you to think about, how do you need to be for that to happen? What kind of you is that you? And for me to be kind, I know that I need to be well rested. And I need to eat really, really good food, because if I eat loads of sugary stuff and stuff that's not very good for me, I get really grumpy and I get really tired and lethargic. So I know that if I eat high energy food, really crunchy, really colourful, food that invigorates me and gives me energy, then I'll be more energized. And if I get plenty of sleep and rest, I'll also be more relaxed. So in order for me to be kind, I need to be well relaxed and energized with the right food. But think about yourself. How do you need to be? And then thinking about what kind of resource and support might you need. So thinking about it for yourself. For you to be like that, what kind of resource and support might you need? And where might that support come from? So I know for me, it's about having a conversation with Mark that if he's going to eat chocolate, don't even ask me if I want some, because I generally want to join in. I don't like being left out. And it's also about making sure that I'm really, really clear that I want to go to bed at 10 o'clock every night, to make sure my sleep patterns are in that I get to bed early enough to get to sleep really well, so that I get up full of energy and focus for the next day. So that's mine. I'd love to know for you, what would you like to have happen? How do you need to be? And what kind of resource and support do you need? Have a fantastic week, and I look forward to hopefully getting engagements from you on the post over the next week or so, where we start exploring kindness for you is like what. Have a fab week. Speak to you soon.